you decided on a starting quarterback for Monday, or are you willing to disclose it?
Uh, um, I have in my mind what I think how it could play out. However, it's a little premature for a multitude of reasons, um, and the very last being the competitive advantage stamp piece. I just there is a lot going on today, a lot that's gone on in the last 48 hours, and you kind of want to uh, instead of wishing something into existence, I'll uh, let it play out. Well, they'll the quarterbacks that will be participating today will get action and great opportunity, and will as the week progresses, I think I'll be sure to um, uh, shout it from the top of a building when we know that. But still a lot of information together, and but looking forward to today because it's a very important day when you have opportunities, regardless of how you think it's going to play out. You get to uh, I get to see guys play within this offense and play with their teammates, and all of that tells me a lot of information, and we'll continue progressing. But got a good team practice today that will be very enthusiastic based upon the meetings today.
Mike, where's Skylar Thompson as he comes back from? I just want to clarify too, a rib injury or is it chest?
Rib, which I guess is semantics because ribs are connected to your chest, but it was rib injury, pretty painful. So, is that a noise? Sorry.
$10 donation to DCC.
Hey man, for charity, noise it up. So I like you're trying to gauge. It's not like just a pain tolerance thing, because Skylar's a very tough individual, but it's how you're able to do your job and with what effectiveness, and every day, from the injury, you get kind of a scope into what it could look like, and how that can affect him. So I'm really just balancing what he's able to do, and then with regard to the reps and what the other guys are doing, just trying to absolutely make the best decision for the football team.
So the guy that will work today.
I mean, this is not a day off for anybody, but how much and whether that it's fully, he's able to be in football drills. He's working on his body, and I'm not. I would be surprised if he'd be able to fully participate, but I also don't want to hold him back I'm just letting the process take care of itself, and I know he'll do what he's able to do, what he's capable of doing, but he won't put himself, or he won't put the team in harm's way if he's unable to execute some of the jobs. So we'll play that by ear, but not expecting him to get a ton of team stuff, and as a result, there'll be some opportunities for our newer guys to the team that are pretty excited for the opportunity.
Mike, where is Tyler Huntley in his grasp of the offense, and what have you guys asked of him since he's gotten here?
I'm feeling much more knowledgeable about exactly where he's at over the course of the last half week, and very, very encouraged. I think we, Chris and his staff, in conjunction with the coaching staff, we targeted him for a reason, and it's a player that we're very familiar with from the opponent standpoint. And then we have a couple coaches that have been on staff with him, on the same team, with our defense coordinator being one of them. So what you're careful of, and not to misread it into it, what I don't like to do is when players are out on the NFL football field and they have their name on the back of the jersey and they're playing with their teammates, you want to make sure that you're doing right by them and not living in hope and not allowing them to execute what they train at in terms of being a quarterback. So I take that super serious. And it was bottom line in the event that Skylar went out for that game. I felt Tim would be it would be more prudent. At this point, I'm more comfortable him falling into where we went and targeted him for. We targeted him to be on the active roster and he's steadily working every day, and I can see him gain the confidence of his teammates as well. So it's a cool process to be a part of. It's not easy, but nothing in this game is specifically for that position. So you can tell he's cut from the right cloth, and the game isn't too big for him. So very encouraged with his progression.
Have you ever been in a position where you have added a quarterback, let's say 2 weeks ago, and then started him in a game? I'm thinking maybe Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, that was one. That was actually a turning point in from our staff then, but really all the guys that we've worked with in terms of play communication to the quarterback. Jimmy's first game was against Chicago on the road, and he was, it might have been about that timeline, and so we went to a wristband system that we all kind of are steadfast to this day. So there's always challenges in the league, and sometimes they're they have to do with the player that touches the ball on every play, and you learn. For me, I got to learn. We were able to win a football game and won several after that with Jimmy that year, and you naturally reflect on, okay, how do you pull that off? And you start to, it really puts into perspective the relationship that quarterbacks have with the team and the players that they're playing with, because you have to win football games like Jimmy did. Your team has to believe in you. Well, where does that come from? It's not all the reps that we've had throughout training camp. We weren't there with them. There's a unspoken confidence and conviction that a person has to have, where guys believe that regardless of how long they've played with him, that they have the components to do what each and every one of them need him to do, really. So, because the quarterback, there's no player on the team that player doesn't touch, that you have to have. I mean, indirectly or directly, your special teams and defense are playing for that guy. Everybody, whether you're a runner or an offensive lineman, trying to come off on the right snap count, or you're a skill position trying to get a pass target, all of these things, everyone's job, they're depending on that person doing their job. So that when you see people with conviction get the back of quarterbacks, especially new ones, I've seen a lot of teammates really gravitate to not only I call him Snoop. Okay, it's much easier and pretty legit to call somebody Snoop and then that be their name. So Snoop and Boyle, which is also cool. Not as cool Snoop in terms of names, but unless you're it's close to O'Doyle rules from a movie reference, but Tim, like that's the thing. I don't think people like there's also opportunity to really see people galvanized, and it was really cool to watch the teammates of Tim's and how he competed without blinking. And I just have a lot of regard for guys that just jump into a situation that isn't for the faint of heart. And you're talking new language, and it takes some self-confidence from within to be able to do that. And I feel fortunate that the guys that we've added are boldly attacking it, and not looking for any sort of excuse.
I'm sorry.
Moo.
Just real quick follow if I can. I appreciate that, though, Joe.
Thanks, Chris. That's great.
You mentioned on Monday that you talked to some of the players. You were planning on talking to some of the players about the quarterback situation. I was just wondering the kind of feedback they've given you already on Snoop.
Just him in particular?
All of them.
You're just very interested in Snoop, or you like the name too?
Yeah, he's the new one.
No, I think you're always interested in how Chris and I are talking and projecting how we think someone's going to fit within the locker room, and so it's not overly weighted. You're just interested to see if your forecast is similar, or the just early impressions, and I think I listen to the strongest statement that I think teammates can make. Asking them is nice, but I'm also the head coach, and generally players are not trying to overly plateau one way or another with their teammates, because they're good guys and they love all of them. But what I like to lean into is what I see through all sorts of nuances when 11 people play football. You can just tell is the best way that I can explain it when guys are believing in the signal caller to really go and do what we have to do. So these practices are extremely important for me for that reason, because a lot of people are very much concerned. I think there's a lot of guys on the team that the last thing that they could care about is that only because so many people are trying to worry about their job themselves. And I think that's one thing that when you're in a football season and you have results that you didn't forecast necessarily on the front end, you can either find excuses or you can find solutions. And although all the players do very much care who the quarterback is, on one hand, on the other hand, there's a lot of motivated people to try to do their part to make our football right. And when you're having results like we're having, it's very clear to everyone that it's not just one person. It's a collection of people. So we have a lot to worry about in that. A lot of guys will be worried about their jobs, and along the way I'll be able to observe natural interactions with teammates, and we'll do our best to absolutely, regardless, right, wrong, or indifferent, as every decision that I make is, always willing to work to the end of the earth to try to do the best. But I have no, you also know what the job is, and that you just have to make your best educated decision. And fortunately, there's a lot of people that will be seizing the day today, and I'll get a lot of information out of that.
Armstead Fuller Long.
Was that one name?
Armstead Fuller Long would be a good law firm.
So Armstead, talking to him, he's feeling better in the protocol, and I make sure anyone that enters into that, same with Fuller, is that they know on the front end from me that I'm not projecting or worried about the timeline because of the literal science that I've learned that I think that's important to come from me. So that, guys have told me they're feeling better, what that means and where that's at. I intentionally don't concern myself with that, and we're still in the protocol, so we'll see. And then, he won't be able to practice today, but he is doing absolutely everything he can, for this opportunity, and he'll either be out there or it will be impossible because he's going to do everything he can. So we're him and we are rooting for his body, but we'll let his body work through it.
With Patrick Paul, obviously you guys got a good look at him during training camp because Teron was not working, and you pretty much should have a good look at him during the practice week. How ready is he to start an NFL game? And you said you didn't want to put him in adverse situations. Seattle, obviously, with the crowd noise, must have been an adverse situation, but now it's a home game. Mm-hmm. Is that a possibility that he could be out there?
No, and I'm feeling good about his readiness and ability to play NFL football in the regular season. What ready means is that he can be counted on for his assignments, and he's steadily progressed in his technique and fundamentals. So then you have the actual NFL game, which is a whole nother process, because it's not if but when you have a snap that you don't like, and realistically been just making sure that our coaches do a great job of knowing where rookies are, what amount of pressure they need to feel on a daily basis, and in that way are a little more I don't want to say aggressive, but like you try to put pressure on guys so that they don't know football without it, so they don't get in a cruise control situation. I think he's responded well, so I'm feeling good about his development, and I think his chance to play NFL football is coming soon. I just don't know how soon. He's got to tell me that today, and where he's at today, and we'll move forward with that. But I've been very happy with his progression, fully knowing that there's different things to attack on the horizon when you step on that football field, and he knows that too.
Mike, the other day you said, I think that as Skylar progresses, I think that leaves variables more vague. What did you mean by that?
It's very easy to say that Skylar's not playing if he's unable to play, I guess is what it's a different scenario forecasting complete unavailability to, okay, well, now you're assessing, all right, when he's able to get the reps and how much he's going to get and what type of situation you're putting in the whole team and the other guys if you put them in. So it's more of a decision to make, and so there's more variables in that. It's less of a decision when you remove a person, and that's high level math right there. That's all. It's not. You just have to take into account several factors that may or may not change your ultimate decision. It's just you have to account for it. It makes it a different type of problem to solve. where when guys, it's like the easiest, the hardest thing for football players is when they're unavailable, but when they're unavailable, the picture of what you could do is a little clearer. That doesn't mean it's not going to be the same thing. It just means you have to evaluate that, and not, my business is not to say the grass is greener all the time. My business is to assess what's going on, attribute the issues, and where it might seem. I mean, if if I would have thought that Skylar Thompson would and the offense would have scored 3 points last Sunday, I probably would have changed the players, the scheme, the everybody. Maybe I would have had you call plays. I don't know, but that you're trying to do. Listen, I don't take any of the decisions lightly at all. It's never as clear as the surface, and just the surface value. I said that on what was that day? Monday, and sure enough, I have a lot more information on Wednesday. So the picture's clearer to me, and I'm excited for the moment that there's supreme clarity. I just don't chase that for the sake of, all right, I want it off my plate. Generally the easiest thing is not the path that I choose, and that doesn't mean the results are always awesome, but that's literally what I signed up for. So bring it.